meetup leader at Bangalore chapter, and I have around 5+ certifications in MuleSoft and 3 in Salesforce. That's about me. And before I start, I'll just give a heads up that I have bandwidth issues, due to which I'll just turn off my video. I'll come back again with the video during the Q&A session. Hope
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
fine
sure.
with everyone.
That's fine. That's fine. Thank you so much, Vandana. And yep, let's
Okay.
get started.
Yes. Okay. So let's get started with some definitions. There's a big difference between a simple chatbot and an agent, right? Think of agent like the expert. It uses the LLMs, then plans, reasons, and uses the MCP tools also, and acts autonomously. And each agent achieves a goal with a defined scope, may it be Agent Force or AWS Bedrock or ServiceNow. But now let's take this a step further. Let's think about an agentic architecture as the team. So now multiple autonomous agents work together and achieve a larger business goal. We already know that over the past decades, the systems have grown enormously, and maybe this is just a random number which is growing every day. Even as we speak, there are numbers or the systems that keep growing, and there's no end to it, right? And MuleSoft has been an important key role while these systems are getting connected and coordinating as one together right now. But with these each systems that are coming, there are something else that is coming due to the AI world. That is the AI agent. Take any system or any tool that you want to use, there's an AI agent that is getting attached. If you're using Salesforce, obviously you have Agent Force. If you're using Amazon, there's Bedrock, Microsoft, then there's Copilot. There are so many agents that come together, and we are entering into something called an agent sprawl, which is nothing but an explosion of agents. But the real question is, who is managing all of these, governing all of this, or are we even utilizing these agents effectively? So that's what brings us to today's topic. So before that, initially MuleSoft was always about orchestrating different apps and systems, managing APIs, using the REST APIs or Open API protocols, and building a composable enterprise. What we called it as a digital transformation. But now, since we are in the agentic era, we have to shift ourselves from this digital transformation to an agentic transformation, where we'll have to interact with agents, connect with agents, use the standard protocols like MC or A2A, and start building an agent that would help us. So, how do we do this? We have something called Agent Fabric. The MuleSoft Agent Fabric has its core mission to govern, orchestrate every agent to fuel your agentic enterprise. And how do we do this? So, we do this with four main pillars that are connected all via standard MCP or A2A protocols. So, here the first stage is discover. Here, we use an agent registry to catalog, surface, or reuse our agents and tools, just like how we have our exchange currently, right? And the next thing that comes is orchestration. So we all have the agents. We'll have agents from different systems, but if we don't orchestrate them and use it as one, we are not leveraging all of them, right? So the next important thing which Agent Fabric brings to us is orchestration, where we intelligently out and conduct processes across agents and different systems. And having just agents and orchestration doesn't help. We'll have to govern them, because security and compliance on every interaction is something which we have to take responsibility before pushing our data to AI. Third step, where we govern our agents. using the policies for every interaction. And finally, we will observe all these actions through a visualizer to gain visibility into agent relationships and how these agents are making their decisions. So let's go deeper into each of the phases now. So to start with, as I said, the first phase is discovery. So we have something called MuleSoft Agent Registry, which provides a central catalog for every AI tool or agentic asset that is part of your company, which means you can get the agents from other not native of MuleSoft or Salesforce. You can get other native agents into your agent registry to be able to leverage them across your architecture. So if it's an internal API or a tool, every developer or LLM has to look back to this agent registry to find the right agent for it to do its task. Next comes the agent broker or the orchestration. So this agent broker is context aware routing it does. So it takes in users, it asks users the complex questions, then it continuously discovers what agents are available within its limit and tries to fit in those agents, like tries to find sub agents and get the job done. And the next part is MuleSoft governance. So, as I said, this is one of the most critical pillar for enterprise adoption. Giving AI access to your backend system can be terrific at times. So, this is where the MuleSoft Flex Gateway comes in. So, Flex Gateway evolves to be your security checkpoint for your entire AI network. It inspects each and every single prompt and responses. So you can expose your MCPs to these flex gateways, and with MCPs, um, so every call that you make to your MCP, it is authorized or checked before your actual MCP is called through the flex gateway. And we can even apply rate limiting policies or even spike protection so that AI doesn't loop and continuously overwhelm your systems, and maybe that's even deepens or slows your system, right? So you can add policies upon these MCP agents that you're exposing and govern them. And also, it provides logging via SSE, which gives the security team a complete audit trail if they want to check how the agent calls were made through the MCP. Okay. So this is what I was explaining, right? So the protocol support, attribute-based control, then logging with SSE, spike control, or rate limiting. So you can use each of these policies for your MCP through the flex gateways as per your need. And not just that, you can even use flex gateways for your A2A. So if your agents are interacting with each other, they might have to pass information to one another. But there's a flex gateway which sits in between and governs what information is being passed from one agent to another. Suppose you say there's a credit card details that is passed from one agent to another, the flex gateway sitting in between can mask your PII data and then push the message. So that's how you can monitor how the interaction is happening between the agent to agent using your flex gateway here by applying their own policies. So here again, we have something called agent card policy, which translates you can set definitions for each of the agents so that they speak the same language, like how we speak RAML or OS while we are interacting with two different APIs. You can set something called agent card, which can be tagged to each of the agents so they know how they interact with each other. Then the prompt detector, the PII detector, and even this has content logging with SSE, and you can still apply all your custom policies or the standard policies that we have in the API manager. There's no limit that if you're using an A2A agent or a MCP server, you will have to apply only these set of policies. You can add any other policy that you wish to add to a normal API, but they'll be governed via the Flex gateway. Okay, then comes the final part. The final part of the MuleSoft Agent Fabric architecture is your MuleSoft Agent Visualizer. So this gives us a graphical presentation of all the agents and MCPs tools that are present in your system. So whenever a broker tries to make a call, you can see those lines coming up, which can help us track how the broker is thinking, how the calls are made to these individual tools that are tagged to that particular broker. And with this, we can analyze if we have to improve or if we have to alter our approach or add in some other agent. We will know how we have to improvise the system by monitoring this MuleSoft Agent Visualizer. Okay, so I think all of us are comfortable with Studio, but I think with AI coming in, you can use your own preferred AI enabled IDE like Cursor with MuleSoft extensions, or you can also use our Anypoint Code Builder with MuleSoft Vibes for creating all these beautiful agentic architectural APIs. So with further no delay, I will just start with my demo and take you through each of these what we discussed in live. Let me just
Before
stop
we move,
sharing my screen.
before we move
Mhm.
further, if any question, guys, please feel free to ask before Vandana jumps into
Yes.
demo part.
Yes.
I
Meanwhile, I'll just stop sharing and start sharing my entire screen.
Yep,
If there's any questions, guys, please unmute
yep.
yourself and you
Please,
can ask.
please speak up. If any questions, please ask. Okay, no questions as of now, Vandana. So let's move ahead with the demo part.
Sure, Vikas. Screen is visible, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I think this is the login page which everybody is aware of, and they would be seeing these pop-ups that are coming now with the MuleSoft Agent Fabric is here. And these were the four steps that I have just explained. Discover, orchestrate, then govern and visualize. So let's start one by one. And also, if you see, there is a separate section called agents and tools that is attached here right now. So you can use any of this from here, or you can just go to the normal exchange and then check for the assets. So I'll just go it from here and I'll show you why I wanted to take it from there, because so if you come to normal exchange and then come to this page, you could see this agent and tools, then that would land you up here. But why we would want to have a separate section is because here if you select check here, it is selected for agents, MCPs, and LLMs. So these are the things that are related to AI, right? So it gives us all the available assets which fall under these categories. So you can uncheck agents and check only for MCPs or only for LLMs, whatever you need. So here, if you see, there are many publicly available MCP servers. So if you have to use, I think Postman is a server which everyone knows, and there's a Tableau server, then there's a GitHub server. So you will get n number of servers that you want to check. So this is basically your any agent registry where you can come and look for the plugins that you need in your architecture. So again, if you check with agents, so there are few publicly available agents as well that you can use. And if you want to separately check the LLMs, I think this is something which I have done it for this demo purpose. So that's coming up here. Yeah, so this is basically our agent registry. Then from here, I think the next part is the orchestration, right? So for this orchestration, I will go back and spin up one on ACB. So I'm using ACB here, the any because I want to use my MuleSoft vibes. And just for you guys to know, to use MuleSoft vibes, you should have an Agentforce enabled account where Einstein is active, and that should be linked to your Salesforce, I mean, Anypoint platform. I think we all know how we link the Anypoint platform and Salesforce account, right?
Yeah,
If you
Bandana. So
come
what
here,
I will do, I have the tutorial for that. So I'll just ping that tutorial in
mhm,
this link so people can go
sure.
through that. Okay, I'll do
Yeah,
that.
so that's a prerequisite if you want to use MuleSoft Pipes. Okay, so now here I want to build a broker, and I don't know, I don't know how to build it. So what I can do is I can just come here, open my vibes. I can say that build a an orchestrator agent, and I already have few of my own um, agents and MCP servers that I have built. So if I come here, so you can see that I have a hotel agent, I have a flight agent. So what I'm trying to do here is I want to use these agents and build an orchestrator which would help me find my flights and get a hotel for that. So what I will do is build an orchestrator broker agent. I should mention broker because that's called broker agent using the flight agent and hotel agent already published in Exchange. I already have my app up, but I want to show how this works so that if anybody is interested in doing it, they know how they can use vibes without knowing the background of things and get started. So here I'm using my own agents. You can use any publicly available agents to get started with. So you can see all the background work that Vibes is doing now. So it is searching for the agents. So it found the agents like that I have published. So it found my flight agent, it found my hotel agent, then it's asking where it should create my broker, the business group. So I'll select Salesforce. Okay, so it's done. It just built my agent right away. Maybe it did not add the right names, but 1 second. It is still adding something. Let's wait. Is this the same window? Oh, okay. So yeah, it has spin up a travel orchestrator broker agent. So correct. So this is what my broker has, I mean, my Vibes has created for me. So if I want to view this in a visualizing format, I can click on flows here. So this gives me an entire architecture on how this is built. So if you see here, this is my agent network. The agent network can have brokers, agents, and MCP servers in them. So these are the list of agents that are available under this agent network. This is the list of MCP servers that are available under my MCP servers. And if you check under broker, it has brokers, it has created a new broker which is pointing out to an agent and an MCP server. I will just come back here. I will not do any other change. I will just try to deploy this as it is. So here, if you see, it has taken my instructions for weather. Okay, it returns and checks for weather and return. So it has taken some generic instructions. And if you see, there is something called ingress URL. So for you to use a broker, you should have a flex gateway. That's kind of mandatory. And how do you create a flex gateway? So if you come to runtime manager, there's
So
something
it's
called
it's it's Omni Gateway now, right? Not the
correct.
Flex
So
Gateway.
that's what I was about to tell. So there's a new section called Omni Gateways. Flex is now called as Omni Gateways. And here you have two options. You can build a self-managed Omni Gateway, or you can manage your Omni Gateway. That is, I mean, you can manually manage your Omni Gateway by adding the Dockers or adding the required instructions. and build your own gateway. So here, since I'm using a trail account, only one self-managed gateway is possible, which I've already created. I've just named it as Agent Fabric Demo. This is my URL. And I have already few apps deployed, so that's what it is showing, how many calls were made to this. You can see all of those here. So here you can see what are the APIs that are using this gateway, and the configurations, everything that is needed. So now what I will do is, so now I have given the instructions to my Vibes. Then Vibes has come up with this beautiful YAML file. So you'll have just two files. One is this YAML file, and one is this Exchange file for that to deploy something onto your Exchange. So once you have this ready, your next step would be publishing this agent as a network assets to Exchange, so that you should know, right, what is a broker doing, and it has to be published to your agent registry always. So I'm just leaving everything as it is. I'll just click on publish. So while this is getting published, let me just take you through the actual agent that I have built. So here, this is my Bon Voyage travel agent. This has a flight agent. I mean, this is the agent network, which has flight agent and a hotel agent. Then a customer MCP profile, which has two endpoints, as in two custom tools that can be used in this MCP server, where I'm trying to fetch the loyalty points of a customer and interest of them, based on which I can find the hotels accordingly. If that person wants something cheaper or something very calm, then based on that, my hotel agents would go and find such a hotel for him. And also, there is something called loyalty points, which I can use to purchase my flight or a hotel ticket. So that's the typical use case that I have built, and I have put that inside a broker. So now my broker has two agents and one MCP server. So this is my app that I have built. So let's see if this is published. Okay, it says it's published to Exchange. Let's come back, go to agents and tools. Okay, I can see here, right? There is one broker that is published. There is one MCP server that is published. There's one agent that is published. And there's one OpenAI, because the LLMs, so these agents, right, they require LLMs to operate, because they should think intelligently to know which service, which agent, or which MCP server they need to use for getting the task done, for which we do require some LLM support. So it's up to you. You can provide any LLM that you want. So since I had not told anything, it automatically took OpenAPI as the LLM, and it has created all the um, networking. So now, now you can see here. So here it says OpenAPI, then GPT, and here it just says instructions, because I explicitly did not give any instructions. So here it just says instructions, then agent names, then MCP server. So it's all taken in randomly, because I just give a very simple basic prompt. But if you want to build an actual one, you should give a detailed prompt, something like this. So this is the prompt that I had used for my project that I have built. So if you see here, I have clearly mentioned what should be the skill name, what it should do, then the flight coordination, the hotel coordination, the error handling. So everything, you should give a detailed prompt, give an example of what you are expecting from that, and ask that to create a broker. Okay. So the next step, once you publish this agent to the network, the next step would be deploy this agent to the network. Okay. So why I'm taking you through all this process, even if I've built already a project, is because I want to show something here. What is that? I'll show you now. So this, I'm selecting the sandbox environment and it automatically pops as both ingress and egress. So here we have two things, ingress, egress. Ingress means this will sit on top of our agent broker, where all the requests coming to the agent broker also are monitored, scrutinized, and then given to our broker. And egress is the things that are going out of your broker. So you will have your MCP servers and agents sitting below your broker, right? So there is a flex gateway or the Omni gateway channel sitting in between that as well to govern your policies. And here it is asking for few of the URLs. So it is asking for one MCP agent URL, MCP URL, and Open API key. Just to show you, I'll just go back to mine, fetch my existing applications, and give the same URL, because I have not deployed or implemented any new agents that was just created. So I'll just come here, fetch this URL, and I will take my MCP server was customer profile. So I'll just take this URL. I'll just use my existing Open API Mistral key. This is just random. I am not running this project. So I just want to show you how it gets deployed. So I'm just using this. And before I click on deploy, let me come back to API manager here where we garner agents and MCPs. Pardon me for my bandwidth, it's a bit slow today. Okay. So here, once you click on API Manager, again you have something called agent and tool instances, and that's where you will find these agents or the MCPs that are there. So you can see here, this is of type agent, this is of type MCP server. So now you can see that there is only two agents and one server that I have built. Now let's go ahead and click on deploy and see what happens.
So Vandana, Mehak has a question like she's saying four assets got published for this broker agent. So while deploying, all will be packaged and deployed.
Four assets got published in Exchange, but those assets have to be implemented for us to use. I'll come to that part.
Sure. Thank you.
But if I have to answer to your question while this is getting deployed, so what happens while this is getting deployed, I'll just say. So what I did for my travel agent that I had already built, when I click on publish or the deploy, what it does is it automatically creates these three entries into my API manager. So it's all Exchange and API manager. That's it, right? But there's no actual implementation sitting behind what my hotel agent does or what my flight agent does or how my customer profile loyalty is managed on an MCP tool. For that, you will have to build your apps and deploy them to your runtime. If I just pin up a duplicate tab. So your implementations, again, you would be using whatever the to A connectors or the MCP connectors, and you would be building apps how we used to be do similarly previously also, right? So when you hit on deploy, it just deploys this broker. It doesn't deploy the entire four applications that got spinned up. So only this broker gets deployed. So now you can see this is up and running. Then if I come and refresh here, so now you can see there are two more added, right? I did not come and make an entry here. This got automatically created when I deployed my broker. And not just that, if I open this and go to policies, so you can see there are few policies that are standard added by default through the broker. So that's how the entire agent fabric ecosystem is coming together, right? So you just build few, you have few assets like MCP server or an A2A agents that are sitting in your exchange as assets. You just give prompts to build the broker or the agentic network that you want, and you just give few input URLs and API keys and stuff, and you deploy it, and you have everything already sitting on your API manager, right? So you that is the reason why I wanted to spin up an app and show you how the process of publishing an agent and then deploying, so that you can see how these automatically come here in the API manager, and I need not do anything at all. Coming to Mehek's question, so I have deployed my flight agent. I have my code already sitting there, which is a standard hard-coded transformation that I'm doing for the demo purpose. So I have that implementation, which is built using A2A connector. I have used the task definition A2A connector, which will take the input and return back the data that is needed from the list that I have, static list that I have. So that's my implementation for both flights and hotel. And MCP, as I said, you will have two tool listeners, which have exposed two tools. One is get customer details, and the other one is utilize loyalty points. So there are two different tool calls that are available for this. So here, what you can see is, so here this ingress is something which we can add, and this is my implementation URL. So now if my flight agent is called from my broker, it first calls the through the Flex Gateway endpoint, right? This particular agent, when it is put to API manager, it's using your egress, that is your Flex Gateway or the Omni Gateway that you provided while you are deploying. So it is already, there's already a layer sitting in between. And now when it comes here, it should know from where it should get the data. So that's your upstream URL where you're giving your actual endpoint of your implementation. So now what happens, since you have given here, when the request come for a flight, it comes here, calls this particular Cloud Hub API and gets back the request. So again, whatever is sitting here is still an A2A connector that we are using. But it's all in a streamlined process where you have policies applied, things are getting governed, and it's safe, rather than directly giving your backend data or anything to your agentic environment. So that is how you can bring everything together. So now I have this flight agent API and hotel agent and my MCP server, all with the policies. So if I want, I can come back here and I can even add in any other policy that I want. Uh, it's taking some time. Okay, no worries. Maybe I can show it up sometime. But you know, right? All the policies that we have made, be JWT token or even just the client ID enforcement or anything that you want, you can add it. But make sure it fits into your AI agentic architecture. But because if you're adding something which requires passing of credentials, you'll have to make sure that is known to your broker and you are passing those values as well. So make sure whatever is required to your environment and add similar policies. So rate limiting or spike control is something that we have to add so that we are not disrupting the backend system with huge number of requests. So this is the entire third part, which is the governance part. Any questions till now?
Yep, Mehak, if you can unmute yourself and ask if any follow-up questions, Mehak. Yeah, Mehak, go ahead, please. Mehak, you're not audible. Okay, I think some issue with her network. So, just
Okay.
so she's asking, she is, are you having any flow diagram to understand how these are connected, or I think it will be visible via analyzer, like the
So you can see,
visualizer.
right? This is This is something which my ACB itself has built it. I have just asked it to write a code, which obviously is coming in XML format, but it is also giving me the flow agent UI, which will tell me how they are connected, right? So if you come back here and see, you have this broker, and broker has two sections: the agents and the MCP servers. So it knows what all agents it has, it knows what MCP server it has. So there's no by default explicit connection that you will have to make between all of these. Since our broker is intelligent enough, supported by LLM, it knows which one to call for which task, right? So that's how they're connected. And if you want to see how the broker is calling them, that is something which we can see it on the visualizer, agent visualizer.
Yeah, the last part basically. Yep.
Correct. So if you see here, right, these are the available agents or the systems that I have built. So here it comes only when you have built something, not the publicly available ones. So if you have deployed something, if you have built, they would come up here. And if you see for this just whatever I created just now, if you see, there is this line which says that it has a broker which is connecting to agent 1 and also to MCP server 1. And this is a thin dotted line for now because I have not hit any request to this. Once you make any request, if it is calling this particular agent, suppose I have made a request to my broker 1 and it has to make a request to agent 1 to fulfill that particular task, then you can see a solid line between the broker 1 and the agent 1, while this would remain the dotted line. So it's vice versa. In each scenario, you can observe which agent is being called or which server is being called, and then you can further decide. Like suppose there can be a case where it's always my agent being called. My MCP server is staying dumb or staying idle. I can just rip it off from my architecture, right? Because I'm not using it at all. So in continuous observations, you can check and decide which one is more efficient for your use case, for your system, and then see what to keep or what to add on. And that is the reason why we have this agent visualizer, to help us know our agents better. I hope that answers your question, Mehak.
Yep, she's good.
Okay, I think this is all I had for the demo. So um, I wanted to explain each part effectively and show how we would publish and deploy an asset to an exchange. So if everybody is okay, then they can ask me questions they have. I'm opening the floor for the questions.
Yep. Thank you so much, Mehak. So, yep, guys. So if you can please unmute yourself and ask questions to Vandana. So, Juan has an question that can we test the broker latency?
Broker latency, yes, you can see it in the visualizer. So visualizer gives you all the details, like how much time the broker took, how much time it took for each agent or each MCP server to respond, and you can check there. Like if the first use case is taking more time, then the second point is taking more time. So you can check different use cases and try it out and see what's the latency that's around.
Yep. If any follow up question, Juan, you can unmute yourself and ask. Okay. Uh, Fine, guys. If no other questions, then I think we are good to wrap up this session. So I would like to thank Vandana to take out time and explain all this MCP related, MuleSoft Agent Fabric related concepts in a simple way. Okay, it's really easy to follow what you did. So yep, again, and thank you so much. And yeah, we'll collaborate soon on the next meetup, Vandana. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thanks for the opportunity, Vikas. It was lovely doing here.
Sure, thank you so much. Bye, bye, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.